I'm Micah. I wrote a book and self-published it, and it did pretty well on Amazon. Bam! I'll put it right there. I also publish a anthology every year, a horror anthology with a bunch of awesome authors, and it does really well. And it's all for charity. And now I help other people publish books, new authors getting into the self-publishing sphere. I help them do that. And every Friday, I get to kick it with my girl and talk about all the awesome things. I like long walks on the beach, and I am 25 years old. Okay. Your turn. Go. We got
Okay.
2 minutes for an intro.
Okay. Chelsea here. I write books. I like to write dark epic fantasy. I show up on a couple of the anthologies Micah has done. Hopefully this year again. Let's just be honest. I have written The Blood of the Lion, The Mark of the Dam, The Dance of Destiny. Now, The Scars of the Wicked is coming out here. I am just pointing, hoping that it all works out. So, that being said, I've done a few short stories. I have written a dark kids book that is, I'm not sure if it's kids friendly, let's be honest.
Oh, it's great. It's very kids friendly.
Yeah.
Very kids friendly.
And I am a coffee addict and will find any way to drink my coffee. And I like music. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, good. Okay, so Chelsea, first of all, maybe we'll make this a poll. So anybody who wants to participate, pause the video after ask the question and type in your comments and let me know if you got it right. Would you think, Chelsea, the worst thing about getting a hand tattoo or getting? So I don't know if I can show it. It's you can see it's all fading now. Don't make fun of the way my hand looks.
You're like showing it at the weirdest angle.
That's the only angle I can get. But so I got that about a week ago. So it's healing now. So you're getting all the scabbies. But what would you say would be the worst thing about getting a hand tattoo? Would it be the pain? Because I will tell you down here on the webbing where my thumb webbing is, that was brutal. It was maybe the worst, maybe even worse than neck. I don't know. It was very bad. So would it be the pain? Would it be the idea that oh gross, you have a hand tattoo? Maybe people don't like hand tattoos. So is it the pain? Is it the fact that you have a hand tattoo? Or C, is it wiping?
I didn't even think about that.
Everybody pause. You don't know the answer. You know the answer. You don't know the answer. What do you think is the worst thing about getting a hand tattoo?
I was gonna say itching, but you did not put that option there. So
No. The itching is just a given. That's with any tattoo. It's the wiping. It is the wiping.
Because of
because you're sticking
I'm assuming
a sore open wound down into your butt crack and into the toilet.
I use a bidet, so
well, that's very bougie of you. Not all of us.
It's like $100, bro.
Yeah, it's not all of us. Anyways, for those who wipe and get hand tattoos, they know what I'm talking about. It
what?
So you basically have to wipe left-handed until for the first few days until it heals.
Oh yeah, and so you would have to use your non-dominant hand,
right,
which would be a nightmare.
It's a nightmare.
I can't even imagine.
I'll tell you. I mean, unbelievable. So I miscalculated, slipped. My finger got up in there. I got some poo finger. I was not thrilled with that at all. It's not good. It's not good. So anyone who's getting hand tattoos, just be aware of that.
You put it on your non-dominant hand.
yeah. Put it on your non-dominant hand. Of course, both of mine are getting done. So, but my non-dominant hand is next. So I don't have anything else to do here until we get to the knucks, and so that'll be a little bit when we get to the knucks. So
okay, wait. What are you gonna do on your other hand then? Are you gonna do another spider, or are you gonna do like an insect, or are you gonna sit with a vibe?
Well, the only reason I did a spider is because we had that gap, because I have the the books, the whole book scene
badass,
on there, the dragons and everything like that. But there was that little space over by the thumb that was just empty, and it was bothering the crap out of me. So I just got a web and a spider because web, spider, old books, dust, that kind of thing, all kind of fits together. So on the other one, I don't know what I'm doing yet. Obviously, the classic is like a lion face or a rose. I'm not going to do anything like that. I want to stay away from from the classic stuff that everybody has. So we'll have to think about it a little bit. Maybe maybe if the Stinging Blade does well, I'll get the tree from the Stinging
You
Blade,
I
like
was
that.
just gonna say you should do something inspired by your world. You already have like fantasy, you have the plague, you have a lot of lore,
Right.
like you have a really cool theme going on already. And I
Yeah.
think it would be freaking badass if you got a tattoo with your stuff.
Yeah. No, I definitely want to. I
Like
definitely
a
want to. Of course,
quote or something too.
if it flops and only my mom buys it, then it might not be worth it to get it on my
Your
skin.
mom and me will buy it.
Well, I appreciate that, Chelsea. I
You're
knew I could count on you. I knew I could count on you.
hard
Uh,
right.
so
I'll
yeah,
buy 3 copies.
well, thank you. 3 copies of the custom edition.
Yes.
Yeah, go take a loan out for that.
Oh my gosh. Only if you do the same for me.
Absolutely. Oh, please, girl. I will.
Good. Good.
So,
That's
before we continue with any other conversation, I did want to talk about something. Did you get the email from KDP? Anyone who's listening who is an author or a writer who has done self-publishing may have gotten this email. Did you get the email from KDP?
I did get the dreaded email.
Okay. Did you read it?
Semi, because I was semi familiar with what people were posting already. I didn't go any
Okay.
crazy research,
Yeah.
but for some odd reason, my email came in a little bit delayed. Like it was 2 or 3 days that I saw people start posting about it. And
Mm-hmm.
then I kind of looked, I knew that, what they were insinuating, things like that. And then I got the email and I was like, well, that was really delayed. And so I didn't
Yeah.
read it.
Well, and I didn't either up until like 2 days ago. I read it 2 days ago, and I was like, I kept saying, "Oh, I got to read that." I was saying something about royalties, increasing. I was like, okay, cost to print. We've already talked about that. We know about all
Yeah.
that. Problem is with this email, and y'all can read it. Yes, cost of printing is going up, et cetera, et cetera. We know that, but now they're doing a forced price increase and a royalty decrease. So
Royalty decrease is what I was hearing about.
yeah. So we are getting a royalty decrease, which again, none of us are in this for the money. So, and it's funny. I was even reading on Threads a well published, multiple New York Times bestseller author, top 5 published author was saying that she was even saying, if you all are in this for the money, you're not in it for the right reasons, because I still work my 9 to 5 job.
I
So
love that. That's
yeah.
honesty. I appreciate
It's
that.
honesty, and people need to see that. People
Mhm.
need to understand that you're talking multiple books on the New York Times bestseller, on the Sunday bestseller, and we're not talking Amazon bestseller. We're talking high level, multiple books, and she still works 9 to 5 because she does not make the kind of money that an author can make to retire. I'm telling you, unless you are that 1% that strikes luck, and I wish you all the best of luck. I wish me the best of luck, Chelsea, everyone who's listening. Everyone who's creating and putting their art out there, I wish you the best of luck, and I hope that you do the best you can. But unless you're in the very, very top upper echelon, you're not going to be making a career out of it. Unfortunately,
No, there's
it
so
is.
little people that get that 6-digit deal,
Yeah,
right? Where
absolutely.
you go,
And
holy
really, I mean,
crap.
you need multiple 6-digit deals, right? I mean,
Yeah.
to function in this society, 100K isn't going to do it.
Oh gosh,
It's
no,
not going to do
no,
it,
no.
right? So anyways, uh, so the price increase, and it's a forced price increase. So that's the thing that kicked me, because I've got, like 13, 14 authors under my imprint, and 7 of those books right now I have for, because I always try to make the books affordable. I
Yeah.
don't want price to be a barrier to get to these stories. So they sent me a list with 7 books on my imprint. They're like, you have to raise these or you're going to be paying it. Like, what?
I
Like,
should have
so,
looked at my email.
so if you're running low prices on some of your older books, like $8.99 or something, that's not going to fly anymore. They're
Well,
like, we have to make a profit, and then
yeah.
if we make a profit, then we'll give you a little profit.
That's
Which I
messed
understand.
up, bro.
I understand. It's business. It's business. I understand it, but it sucks because now that barrier to entry is harder. You're going to have to raise those prices, and that sucks because not everybody has money or wants to
Mhm.
spend money on a new author.
And that's the incentive, right? You already said it with the new author.
Mhm.
And we're already in a situation now where the cost of print has gone up. We already proved that. If you go back a couple of episodes, I literally share the pennies that I am making on Ingram
Right.
Spark for
Right.
my physical copies. But I have physical copies over on KDP as well. And those are the majority of those are as low as I could possibly make them and maybe make 50 cents.
Right.
And it's just like, and they're already in my mind, I as a reader would never buy. Because I think as readers, when we grew up in the age where we could walk into Barnes and Noble and drop $60, $70 and walk out with like 10 books,
Right. Just a
paperbacks
stack.
and hardcover. And
Yeah.
like you're ready to go. You got your VIP gold card because you're that kind of cool person,
Right.
right?
Right. Right.
And it's like, even as an author who understands just how significant the cost of price has increased, and knowing that I am pricing as low as I possibly can, and even me as an author, I would struggle to justify as a reader buying my physical copies,
Right.
right? Because I'm like, it's so unfair. Because I'm like, we want the bookshelves, we want the prettiness,
Right.
like hold the books in our hand, but we can't take a loan out to buy every book. Like,
Exactly.
yeah,
So
and
it
so that's
really limits instead of being able to like, oh, I'll try this author and oh, I'll try this author. So it's really damaging to the new authors who don't have a readership yet, who don't have anything under their belt to say, oh, that is a good author.
right.
I can spend that now, $10 or $12, 13, 14, $15. Now I can spend that and know that I'm getting a good book and I'll enjoy it. And I'll be able to keep it and cherish it, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
So yeah, the entry there is higher, and that I think is the most damaging part of
Mhm.
this whole increase.
I do want to come at it though I kind of want to take this at a different spin though. And it just came to me is we've already noticed, I think one of our earlier episodes of this year, we were discussing the trends for publishing, and ebooks are really starting to take off. I mean, they
Yeah,
already were taking off, but we're really seeing a big push toward them. And now, as indie authors, you have the agency model, which is running the majority of trad publishers. I mean, there was a book, Murderbot. I was looking at it because the Apple series dropped, and I was curious about the book series. It is more expensive to buy the Kindle than the physical print. Like, I just saw that like 2 days ago. And
that's
so
crazy.
that's where I'm thinking to myself, wow, indie authors, leverage this for your ebook pricing.
Yeah,
Drop the pricing. We just said it. If you're doing it for the right reasons, you're not in it for the money. It's
right,
all about exposure and being able to share your stories.
right,
And so cut the price, you know, increase the incentive where readers are looking through and they're going, wow, this book is $2.99, this book is 99 cents, this book is, $1.99, whatever. And you're going to start to see that push toward the indie author
yeah,
world. And I think
yeah,
that's influencing a lot of the indie author uptick.
yeah, yeah. I do too because the print cost is more expensive there, and the big printers, the big publishers, they're pushing for, well, not the publishers, but the printers are pushing for digital because it's
Mhm.
so much more cheaper,
Yeah.
so much more cheaper. No, no, scratch that. Edit that out. It's so much cheaper. So it's so much more cheaper. But
It's Friday.
it's Friday, and it's later than usual. We're usually done by now. But it's so much cheaper to just transfer a couple of zeros and ones and make your money. So if you can charge what people are used to paying for physical copies, if you can charge that for a couple of zeros and ones and a little file push, then hey man, somebody's making big old bank.
That profit margin on an $11.99 ebook.
Yeah,
Holy crap,
I can't
dude.
imagine. Yeah,
Buying
ridiculous.
coffees with that.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, dude. Yeah, you're going to Starbucks on that one. You're not getting a quick trip coffee. You're going to Starbucks on that one.
darn
So,
right.
yeah, yeah. But anyway, so I just want to bring that up if anybody wasn't aware of that. That's what the new KDP
And
royalty changes are.
it's June 10th, right?
Yeah,
It goes into effect. Yeah.
yeah. So and one of the culprits of my books that needs to have a higher price, Chelsea McKenna, is
Oh
Play
my god,
TV Trivia.
I forgot. I literally forgot that book existed off your platform. Like,
I did too. I was like, why is that over here? Oh yeah, because we wanted to use the ISBN and everything. So yeah, so and we had it super cheap so that people can get it because you just wanted the story out there.
Shoot, I totally forgot about that
Yeah.
book. We're gonna have to
So
transfer that.
yeah. So now, yeah, we should transfer that. Yeah. We also need to, until that gets done, we also need to bump the price up so that so it doesn't get canned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, I totally forgot about that
Yeah.
book. Like,
But yeah, all.
honestly,
Oh, go ahead.
no, I just said I totally spaced that it existed.
Yeah. Right. Right. I do too. I totally forgot about it. All three of Scarlett's books I have to bump up. I
Oh,
had They Will Suffer. I had that real low. And people are just eating it up. I'm gonna have to bump that. Adam's book, I'm gonna have to bump. There's a few others. Yeah, I was like, man, that sucks. I like low price books. Again, you don't make a lot of money, but people get them. So
when I think of the low price books, I'm thinking of the secondhand stores that you walked into. There's a place I used to go into that was really close to when I did my EMT training. I would literally, it was 2 minutes away, and during breaks, I would walk in there,
yeah,
and we're talking like $6.99 books, like
yeah,
big, thick, old fantasy books, and
yeah.
it was just like epic, where you could just grab as many as you could for 30
Oh
bucks. And it
yeah, yeah.
was glorious.
And
And
you know
now it's like $30. It's like you
we,
can't even cover the cost of a hardback.
right. And the bummer part is that going to Barnes and Noble buying new, that's great. That's fun. We love doing that. Going to secondhand bookstores and buying cheaper from people who've traded them in things, that's a wonderful experience too. But even secondhand book prices are skyrocketing. Well, and of course we know why. It trickles down. There's and again, this is just what it is. It's a bummer. We're just reporting on it, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's a big bummer.
Dang, that is a bummer, but
Mm.
it definitely it supports our discussion that we had a few episodes ago, which I don't even know what a few accumulates to. That could be 12
Who
at this
knows?
point. Who knows?
Yeah, yeah,
But it supports our discussion about maybe trying to spend more on the presentation of an ebook and understanding that the majority of your sales are going to come from ebook, and to take time into ensuring the ebook is the best quality it can be, because the cost of print is going to shy away the everyday reader, because the everyday reader can't buy 12 books a day anymore. It's going to be 2 or 3 books, and it's going to be their top 2 to 3, and it might be a book they've already read on Kindle and just want to add to their collection.
right,
I know that's a
right. So
huge thing, and I
that,
support
that
that
happens to
because I
me.
do
Yeah,
it.
that happens to me. If there's a Kindle book for $2.99 or something that looks great, I'll buy it. I'll go read it eventually, and
Yeah,
then I'll be like, "Oh crap, this is good," and then I'll go buy the physical copy eventually. So you might get
exactly.
into somebody's eventual TBR list through ebook, and then from there
Yeah,
you'll get onto one of their favorite authors. But it's
yeah.
just a different ball game. I'm not saying go away from physical books, because we
No.
all love physical books. I would never in a million years go away from physical books, mine or purchasing them. My physical book for the Singing Blade is, I'm just so stoked for it. Like, it's going to be the most beautiful thing in the world.
Yes.
I wish everybody could buy it. I don't think everybody will be able to. I don't know, so kind of
No, I totally get
a,
it.
yeah,
I'm the same way. It's like I always laugh and say I do the dust jackets for me and like the 5 readers that really want the dust jacket,
right.
because and we're coordinating shipping and things like that, and because it is a lot, because my books are so heavy, it literally costs like $40 to ship international,
Yeah,
like more than the book.
yeah,
Like,
right, right.
so it's just like me and the 5 readers that are saying I'm willing to eat the cost on that so that I can have the physical book in my hand that's signed by you and everything, which I'm like,
Right.
you are just amazing, thank you.
Right.
Like,
Yeah, absolutely.
that's but yeah, so the dust jackets are for the select few
Yeah.
because
And
they
it
are
also goes
much
it
more
also goes
expensive.
into our conversations we've been having recently about physical um appearances.
Yeah,
Going to your local bookstores, going to your local coffee shops, going to local cons. A lot of the people on Anatolian Press, man, they thrive. They make hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars every con they go to, because
yeah.
and now they're becoming staples. People know them. Oh, I met you at this one. So it's just, you gotta look at everything. It's all different now. Social media is still a great tool, but
Hmm.
it's much much less a vehicle forward than it used to be, unless you're
It's a
paying.
presence, it's a
Yeah,
reputation, it's
right,
where
right.
people can find you if they want to keep updated on things, if they're using social media,
Yeah,
right? I think social media still has that glimmer of hope where you can find new readers and things like that.
Yeah.
But it's definitely not what it was 3 or 4 years ago, where the algorithm is much more friendly to exposing you to new accounts that you haven't been exposed
Right.
to yet.
Right.
But man, cons, those events you were talking about, and I would say the Stuff Your Kindle events, I say those
Yes.
are those are huge things to do moving forward if
Yeah.
you want the exposure.
Yeah. That's the way to do it. That's the way to do it for sure. I didn't even think we were going to get into all that, but hey, cheers! It's Friday. What's up?
It's Friday. It's
Yeah.
Friday. Micah and I had the craziest start to this morning. It was just like we
It was
already are off a day because I
right.
had to work. And I was
Right.
like, I'm pulled into a 2-hour meeting and I'm like, I can't make our call on Thursday. And then this morning, Micah work for Micah.
Work got in the way. We had scheduled, so Chelsea couldn't do it yesterday because she had that 2-hour meeting. I was like, hey, no problem. Can you do it Friday? Absolutely, I can. Okay, great.
Yeah.
So Friday, we're sitting there. Okay, you want to do it normal time? Absolutely. And like 5 minutes before we're getting on, I get
Literally 5.
literally 5. Yeah, 5. I get a page. Server went down at work. I have to go in to fix it. It's not something I can do remote. Like, oh crap! I text Chelsea. This looks bad. Let me assess the situation. We'll see what's up. Getting dressed, getting the backpack filled up, heading out the door. I was like, you know what? Let me just log in. Not take somebody else's word for it. I'm going to log in, check it out, see what I can figure out. Well, long story short, I figured it out, and we were able to get back on. I was able to fix it from home. Didn't have to go in. We're back online. So then I send the link out. I was like, all right, bet we're a little late, but let's get rolling. And she texts back. She's like, yeah, my brother just called. I don't know what it's going to be.
I was literally in the room to join and I was hovering over the enter room and I look over and my brother's calling and I'm like,
yeah,
I hope everything's okay. And I texted Micah and I was just like, hey.
Yeah, just give me a minute. Just give me a minute. It's cool, man. It's cool. So enough of that. Our episode with the interview with Aaron Lee went out last week. I think it was good. I don't know if you've kept up with the comments on YouTube.
I did not. This week was scary.
Yeah, and not bad. So some people had differing opinions than us. Some people thought that we were very, very professional in the interview portion, but very unprofessional in the post interview portion.
I love you all.
Yeah, right, and that's fine. That's fine. That's a good deal. Some people were like, "Hey, she's just doing her thing. Leave her alone." I agree. I think that 100%. I just think that there's a tact and an attitude if you're wanting to use social media as a platform to gain readers that Aaron did not or does not understand or does not care about. Understand? Probably not. She probably understands it because she's a grown adult woman and I'm sure she's very intelligent. So it's probably not understanding. It's more about not caring. And I think that's where the rub was. And most people agree with that. Some people didn't. Some people said people just need to chill, kind of like with her comment. Hey, I agree too. Everyone needs to chill. I need to chill. Everyone needs to take everything down a notch. I totally get that. I totally agree. So
absolutely.
Yeah. So overall, I think it was very good. I think it was very well received. I'm happy we were able to do it again. Thank you, Aaron, for joining us. I wish you the best. Although we don't agree on everything, I would never badmouth you or threaten you or anything else because that's
messed up. Yeah.
Who does that, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, so that was a fun interview. But I think today we just need to chill and just focus on
chill.
Yeah, just focus. Hey, we need to chill. We need to chill, yo.
That's
and just
that's what's so fun.
Writing.
Yeah, that's just so fun though because it's like Micah and I knew going into that interview people were going to have differing opinions, and everybody has a right to that opinion. It's just acknowledging that the other side or the other 4 sides might have opinions as well, and that's what we're here for. Everybody has an opinion, and we respect that as long as everybody respects each other's opinions.
Right.
So
right, and even some we did have one comment. I don't know, it was ages ago, but it was a nasty comment. And I was like,
that ages? Was that the?
I can't remember. I can't even remember what it was. It had something to do with. I can't remember. It was something to do with me. Oh! It was saying that that our relationship was fake and forced, and it was all this kind of crap. So it was total utter bull crap.
We're not friends.
We're not friends. Yeah, but that's basically what it was, and saying that came across the screen, and it was just intolerable because of how fake and forced it was. Anyways, but even then, I didn't respond, like with agitation or with
Oh,
a rebuke or anything like that. Okay, thanks, I appreciate that. I'll take it in consideration. We are friends. We're best of friends. I'm sorry it didn't come across that way. So, anyways, so yeah, I think there's a tact there. Everyone has their opinions. You don't have to take them to heart, but you
no.
still need to acknowledge that they're there, and go forward. So yeah,
That and I think that comment was like a year ago.
yeah. Was it? Yeah, it
It
was a
was
minute.
a minute ago, and I
Actually,
still like.
it was probably when we were doing Icker and Ink. We
I think
felt,
yes,
yeah,
it
yeah,
was. That's still one of my all-time favorite comments.
yeah,
So
yeah. It was
if this
pretty,
ever reaches that person, I want them to know that was the best comment I've ever seen.
yeah,
We're
yeah,
not friends.
yeah. We're not
It,
friends.
it's a running joke still.
It's totally fake. Our relationship is fake. Whatever. Uh, yeah, and it's kind of wild to think that we had done Icker and Ink for so long, transferring over to this, and starting over. I still don't know if that was the best idea to like delete that channel that had like way more followers and way more
I
engagement to
know.
start over from scratch. But it was such a shift in topic and in feel that I didn't. I almost felt like it was kind of like it would feel like a bait and switch if we did Icker and Ink for like a year and a half or 2 years, whatever we did. It had all these people who were into the horror stories and stuff, and then we keep that same channel and keep all those people and just go, hey, now we're a writing channel.
I don't
I
think it
didn't
would have
feel right with
worked
that. Yeah,
because
yeah,
even the narrative style changed.
right,
Even how we
right,
present
totally.
ourselves, even our discussion topics. I mean, everything changed.
Yeah,
We still talk horror from time to time, but it's not the primary point of the channel. And
right.
so, yeah, that's
So I just figured, start from scratch, and yeah, starting from scratch is always rough because you start from the beginning, start from the ground up, start from zero. But hey, we're seeing growth, not only in subscribers but in watch time hours. Watch time hours is so high, so thank you all for that. Comments are so much higher, so thank you for that. And subscribers are getting higher, so we're happy. So numbers aren't the thing for this. If it was, we'd take it a lot more. We would approach it a lot more professionally, I think. But
mhm.
then at the same time, I don't think it would be
Us.
as what it is. Yeah, because this is just us as two indie authors sitting here talking to other indie authors. So that's what we
That's
do.
yeah, that's and we've had a few people make comments recently, and I think we might have said one, was it last week or the week before? I don't even know.
I do remember that. Yes.
But it's just a couple of them have reached out talking about just the nostalgic feel, the rainy day with a cup of coffee kind of talk chatting with friends feel.
Right.
And that, like Micah and I, that's all we've ever wanted.
That's it. That's it. That's
That's it.
all. That's all we wanted. And
Yeah.
so that comment thrilled me. And hopefully those who do listen and subscribe and watch whatever, hopefully y'all get that too. So
Yeah.
you enjoy it. It's just a conversation between us, and I don't just mean us, me and Chelsea. I mean us, everyone who's listening. It's an open conversation, and that's why we want it. So what's up?
Oh, what's up?
Yeah, what's up?
I have to let you know
Yeah,
that I upgraded to a massive iced coffee this morning.
nice, nice.
So this is one of the old Starbucks cups, but it's double insulated, and so it
Yeah,
keeps it really cold, and that's why I keep it. So yeah, I made a mega iced coffee in here.
dude, you got to do it. I
Yeah.
love iced coffees. Like they're my jam. As soon as we're done here, I'm going up to the coffee shop, get me an iced mocha, and I'm gonna start
That's what
writing.
mine is. I have literally iced mocha americano
Yeah,
decaf.
love it.
Like, yeah,
It's my
it's
favorite.
amazing.
Yeah,
I wish, man, I need to do the coffee shop thing, but I just haven't done it because
you
I
need to.
love your experience with it. Have you so a few episodes back you were talking about the guy that would walk up and be like, "Oh, what happened today? What happened?"
Yeah.
Is he's continued?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Not and not only him. There's a few others, and now so I went and bought a. Do I have it with me? No, I don't. It's a second monitor, so it's an extension monitor. So it just comes in like a foldable case or whatever. You put it right behind your laptop, throw it in your backpack. So you take your laptop out, open your laptop, you take this dude up, open it up, plug it in with the USB-C, and now you have two
Yeah.
monitors wherever you go. Love it, absolutely great. So
Yes.
and the reason I did that is because my world is getting it's to the point where it's pretty fleshed out. I know where everything is, but I had to have a visual representation that I could look at while I'm writing, because so many things are happening in so many different parts of the world. So I just used Incarnate and made a quick map and filled it all in. Now it's got like 200, cities, capitals, things like that,
Holy
so it's stupid and massive. But so now I have that sitting on my side screen, so the map is up all the time. While I'm writing, I can look over and say, okay, yeah, that's where they're from, so it's always there with me, so I can be in the world and know the world while I'm writing.
Okay, that's badass.
Oh, I love it. It's so good. But so many people are like walking up and being like, is that a map? Oh yeah, it's a map. Well, what kind of map? Oh, it's a map to my world. Your world, so it's like now it's
Oh
like
my god!
piece. So it's pretty funny. I didn't tell you. So there's a new. Correct me. I don't think it did, because last week was Aaron, right? So we haven't actually talked for a while.
Yeah,
Uh,
and the week before was Million Lives.
right. So yeah, it's been a minute. There's a new energy drink shop that opened up just literally. If I look out my window, I can see it. It's far because it's like past the fields and across the road and over there in the main city of Greenwood. But it opened up right over there. I was like, man, I might just go check that out instead of the coffee house today. Just see what's up. They do like iced protein shakes in coffee flavor, in sugary
Ooh.
flavor, whatever you want. So I went over there, walked in. There's a few tables, very comfy chairs, very heavy, like real pretty tables. So already I
Ooh.
was like, oh, this is cool. This is cool. So I went up to the chick that was checking people out, and I said, hey, would you mind if I sat down and just did some writing for a little bit? I don't want to, overstay my welcome if you don't. And she's like, no, that's what we want. Go, yeah, sit down, absolutely. So I said, well, never been here. So she gave me the whole spiel. Ended up she was the owner. So cool. Talked to her a little bit. Went and sat down, opened all my stuff up. She's like, so what are you writing? Are you studying? I was like, no, I'm writing a book. You're writing a book. So the same old deal, the same deal. I was like, yeah, I said I wrote one, the urban legends, and it was a bestseller and all that, and people really enjoyed it. So she like immediately looked it up. She's like, that you? I was like, yeah, that's me. And because she Googled it. So she did. It's not like she even like looked up the name of like Amazon. She just Googled my name, Micah Campbell, and I'm the first everything that pops up. So that's always fun. But she's like, oh, that's so cool. So she sat and talked to me forever. Then her husband came in, and he sat and talked to me forever. So at this point, I'm like, yeah, it's a lot of fun, but also like, dude, I need to start writing.
You're like, I'm actually here to write.
Can you please leave me alone? But of course, I'm never gonna do that. So
No.
so they go back. I start writing. Every person that came in, and I was there from like 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. And every single person that came in, they're like, that guy over there is writing a book. He's an author, So multiple people would come over, like sit down, like, I hope I'm not disturbing you. Well, my earbuds are in. Let me just take those out and pause my music. What's up? So I talked to like 7 different people that day, but I was like, it was such a good experience. I'm going to make that like my Tuesday, Wednesday haunt, and make the coffee shop my Thursday, Friday haunt. It was so
Oh
fun.
my gosh. It really just speaks to my soul when I hear how human people are being.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, that's so beautiful, and the world needs more of that. It's
Oh
just
yeah.
you being able to walk in and they're just excited for you, and people are just being people and connecting and supporting and having fun and sharing that excitement with you
And
and with each
do
other
you know why it makes you feel so good?
because it's about being a human.
Because it's real.
It's
It's
real, yeah.
it's not social media. So can you tell me the last time that I got 12 followers in a day on social media in one day? Yet I got 12 people to fall in love with me and talk to me about my book all day in one day sitting at
Wow.
a shop writing.
It's so real, it's authentic,
Weigh those, weigh
yeah.
that. There's no comparison.
There's no comparison. It
Yeah,
is such a beautiful piece of humanity that I think, and I could go on in a massive snail trail with this, but it's like, it's such a beautiful piece of humanity to witness that and be like, that still exists out there.
yeah,
And because behind the screen with technology, you lose that human touch. I always say, as great as technology is, it's dehumanizing us.
correct.
And so it's like, being able to walk into a coffee shop or that energy sports bar area at,
Yeah.
I call it a bar, but
I
being
think
able to walk
it's
in.
like an energy sports bar or whatever. I think that's what
Yeah.
they call it.
It's
Yeah.
like walking in and just like connecting with people on a real, like real world basis and them sharing that excitement and just being human.
Yeah.
It's beautiful to me.
It had nothing to do with like being a rock star. Like, oh, look at me. You know, no, absolutely not. It was like you're actually connecting with people you didn't know, and now you do.
Yeah.
Like, you don't get that with social media. You don't get that behind the screen, like you were saying. But my coffee shop experience has been great. This experience has been great. And so I just encourage all you writers, you know, who are timid maybe about doing book signings or whatever. Start there. Just go start writing at a local shop,
Yeah.
and just introduce yourself. If the topic comes up, great, it will. I promise you. And so they offered. They're like, so December 16th. Yeah. Do you want to do a book signing here? Oh, of course. Yes. I'm
Oh
glad.
no, I'm actually busy.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm busy. I'm busy that whole week. So no, of course. So now I've got a book signing there, which is right in my hometown, and then I've got a book signing at Post, both on that first week the book launches.
And which is huge. And you know they're gonna like. There's probably going to be some sort of announcement board
Oh, they'll
made.
do announcements. They'll do social medias. The one here, you know, like I said, it's my local, so they'll be able to say local Greenwood author come in. They might even do, you know, so it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a blast. But that would have
Oh,
happened if I hadn't gone in.
my heart is literally like bursting. Like
Yeah,
I'm just
do
like,
it.
wow. Like I am so
Yeah,
happy for you. I'm so happy for the community. I'm like, it is so refreshing and amazing just to see and hear the human experience.
yeah, it's
And
awesome.
that's, it's like semi sad to even talk about that and be like, I'm so happy people are being people and human.
Right.
But it is the honest truth.
Yeah.
Like just I ever since you talked about that one guy that walked in, and I don't know his name, but
Yeah.
like that he walked in and started asking you, and then he just made it a habit to ask what was happening and stuff like that. Like I
Yeah.
continuously still think about that
It's
because
awesome.
it was just such a simple act, and it was such a massive connecting point from two strangers.
Right.
And because they're sharing, you are sharing a love of storytelling. And at the end of the day, storytelling connects people all over the world. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter what your background is. It doesn't matter where you came from or anything like that. Stories connect people.
Well, and it doesn't matter what medium it is. Why do you think, why do
Right.
you think music is so powerful? And music is powerful because also it has, and not just the words, but it also has
The
the notes
instrumental.
behind it. Yeah, that can influence the minors and the majors, and all these things that can influence that. But whether
Yeah.
it's movies or music or books or art or paintings, whatever it is, that connects
Yeah.
people. Yeah.
Yeah, it's dated.
Don't
I
don't
mean, that's what people have done since this dawn, right? It's like
Right.
they connect with each other through stories,
Right.
no matter the medium. Like,
Right.
ah, gosh, it's just like I literally like I will smile. I'll think about that guy randomly, and I just smile because I'm
Yeah.
just like
Yeah.
that is just such a like an innocent, simple act, and it
Right.
was beautiful. And to
Yeah.
hear more to hear more is happening, it's just man, yeah, I really second that. I encourage people to get out and just go to your local shop. I myself included. I need to do
Yeah.
that as
You
well.
need to.
Yeah,
I encourage you, and I'll keep encouraging you to do it
yeah.
until you do it. Yeah, it's great.
No, that's so cool.
Yeah.
So, where are you on your writing?
Um. Well, I did just have, and it's funny. We can share this and talk about this, especially in the wake of having Aaron on last week. So I texted Chelsea. I can't remember when, but I'm in the throes of chapter. I'm calling it chapter 12.1 because I think it's going to be a chapter 13, but I don't know yet. But anyways, there was this terrible storm, and there's all these carriages and chariots and carts and things that are trying to make it into the castle, and they go into what is called the Stone Guard, which are two giant mountainous walls, one on each side of this cavern, and it just kind of funnels people into the castle. And it's not a dangerous or evil thing that all these people are rushing in, but this storm is unnatural, and you'll see why when you read it. So the storm is unnatural, and so it's causing flooding and all. So it's a very harrowing thing. So everyone's just trying to book it, and some of the main characters are in this very small little apothecary wagon carried by these two mules who have kind of created their like been their own characters. Their names are Murrow and Bitter, and Murrow and Bitter are just they're just very sarcastic. They always give you that side eye, and so but they've been very heroic too. They helped the main characters fight off some wolves, things like this. So very heroic creatures, and but they're mules and they're funny and they're stubborn. Anyways, at the end of all of this, and there's this harrowing escape. Murrow and Bitter die,
which is really messed up.
So I texted Chelsea, and I was like, "Oh gosh, am I going to be the next Aaron Lee? Is everybody going to cancel me because my story it didn't happen the way people wanted it to?" First of all, she's like, "No, f no," and I was like, "Well, I know, I was kind of making a joke, but." And spoiler, this is the only spoiler I'll give in this book because there are way too many. There's way too much gravity and some things that happen that I just can't give spoilers. But Murrow and Bitter are not dead.
Oh
yes. So when it happened, because like we've talked about, the story just kind of takes place, and as I'm building the storm and this race to the capital and all this stuff and all these things are happening, it just kind of happened. And with all these other giant carriages and envoys of different countries, this little chariot or this little cart is just getting overrun, and so it just kind of happened. But I was like, "There's no way it's Murrow and Bitter, baby. They can't die."
no.
So so the chapter ended with them thinking that they're dead, but they're not dead. So, but anyways, that was very funny because I had to text Chelsea and I was like, "Do I have to put this?" Because of course, me and spoiler warnings. I don't get down with them, and I don't want to offend anybody because a lot of people have said, "Oh, spoiler warnings are good for me." I understand that. I do.
Yeah.
I have bought books that I've had to DNF because there was a scene in the beginning or something like that. Even fantasy books, and I've been like, "Nope, I don't care how this leads on to the story. I'm not reading it."
Right.
I just don't do that. There's been others where people, this is great, but there's been some some violent maybe, but just more like vindictive kind of. I don't get down with that. So and I've DNF books. Have I gone on and done a 1-star rating or got on their social media and said, "Oh, boo-hoo, you"? No, I haven't. I just DNF'd it, said that's not for me.
Yeah.
I don't agree with spoiler warnings. If there's something that is in there that you don't like, you put it down. If I go watch a movie and it's got way too much sexual content, and I don't want to be into that, or I'm watching with my kids and it's like, no, I'm not gonna watch this. We'll walk out. I'll turn it off. Whatever. I don't need a trigger warning for that.
Right. And I know, and you already said it yourself. It's like some people like that and need that, and we respect that. Like
absolutely, 100%.
But I am there with Micah. It's like I don't need them. I don't necessarily want them going, especially I'm an avid horror reader, and so I like to be surprised. I like to see how twisted things can get because I like the psychological aspect of horror, which is why I read horror. And so I don't necessarily want to be told of certain things, but I have myself stumbled on a couple of horror books, one in particular that people were raving about. And I saw it and I was like, the title was cool, everything was cool. And I got 60% in, and there was this graphic scene with this young girl. And I was so turned off by the scene. And I've read some crazy things.
Sure.
And as a horror lover. And it was just like, it felt over the top and inappropriate. And it was just like unnecessary for the storyline. And I walked away. But I didn't trash anybody. I wasn't like going after anybody. I was more disappointed that I was like, wow, that kind of just did not sit like I set the book down and I thought, wow, I've never actually been so bothered by a scene, and I've watched and read some crazy stuff.
Sure.
And I was just like, I sat there and I thought maybe I was just not in the right mindset for this. And so I let the book sit there for a week, and I kept thinking, okay, go pick it up. And I was like, no. I was like, I finally came to the conclusion that I was really turned off by the scene, and I thought it was extremely inappropriate. And I was like, I'll just DNF it, you know?
And that's all it is. If you go to a art museum, and there's a wing in the art museum that has to do with things that are not your cup of tea, or maybe offend you, or maybe even cause some kind of turmoil or things like that, you go, oh, this isn't for me. You walk the other way, and that
Yeah.
could be different. That could be different for anybody, and it could be different for so. The problem or the danger with trigger warnings is what triggers who, and how many trigger warnings are you going to put in your book? Are you going to put 42 trigger warnings in your book? Well, then why is this trigger warning exempt, but this one isn't? Is this person's offense or trauma less than this person's? So why didn't you put this trigger warning? It just turns
It's a
into a
slippery
big,
slope.
right. And so again, those who appreciate them, those who want them, those who rely on them, I absolutely respect that.
Yep.
But for me, I just don't think it's, and I don't write anything that necessarily I think warrants a trigger warning. I think at the time you get to a scene, if it's not for you, then you just DNF it, and
Yeah.
you
And
know,
that's, or you skim over it. Like I've
it's
had,
yeah.
I have a reader, or I've had several readers go, my gosh, I love your world, but sometimes those more darker violent scenes, that, because I do explore some darker themes, I just kind of skim over, and I'm like, I totally respect that.
Yeah.
Do whatever you want, and it's like, but they're like, but I love the story, love the characters, everything like that, and I'm here for the long haul. It's just that there's a couple of scenes that I might skim over because I get a little uncomfortable, and I'm like,
Yeah.
dude, that's totally fine.
Right.
That's totally fine.
And
And
that person that gets a little uncomfortable, someone else could get very uncomfortable.
yeah,
And that's
yeah,
why I'm saying that's why I'm saying where is the line? What trigger warnings do you, and like you said, you said it perfectly. It's a slippery slope. That's so yeah. And I don't know how the heck did we get on trigger?
well, first off, I
Oh,
have no idea, but I was going to tell you,
yeah.
there is and I don't know if you've heard of this, and this is where I think the slippery slope is really dangerous, and that's why everybody has the right to read what they want to read. And if you're not if you're uncomfortable with something, skim over it or set it down, whatever. Like there is a book for everybody out there.
Just
But
don't go
don't
destroying somebody's career because they wrote something you're not a fan of, or they wrote something you disagree with.
exactly.
I'll bet you there are millions, and I don't say that lightly. I think probably millions of books that I don't agree with. Okay,
They're
it
not for
does
me.
right, just not for me.
Yeah.
So
There's a niche section in the dark romance field that, and I could be another subgenre as well, but I know for a fact dark romance, but it's almost a game how many trigger warnings you can put in there, which
interesting,
is yeah, I've seen a few authors that I follow, and I don't know when or how I ended up following them, but I've stumbled on these posts where they're literally showing off how many trigger warnings they have for their book, and it's almost like it's like a prideful thing. And so I think that's where it becomes a very slippery slope, because now are you doing that for the reaction? It appears so,
right?
based on the theme and the narrative style of the reel, like, look at what I have. um and then on top of that, you have people that are actually really wanting to look at those because they are bothered by certain things. And it's such a slippery slope. People are
I,
bragging about it, and I'm like, that's odd.
super. I don't know. I guess counterintuitive is not the right word, but yeah, it just seems like you're writing to such extremities that you put all these in. Yeah, what came first, the chicken or the egg? Are you trying?
Exactly.
Are you trying to just check every box for every trigger warning, and are you trying to do
Yeah.
that just for the marketing value? I don't know. That's strange.
Yeah, and we're talking like pretty dark
Yeah,
romance.
yeah,
So yeah, there's actually
yeah.
a couple of authors that I don't know how I ended up following, but they wrote some very disturbing dark romance, and I ended up unfollowing them because I was
Well,
like, and I was just like, what? I First off, how did we even get connected? And this is so beyond my comfort zone.
yeah,
It was just like posting very inappropriate things. I was like, okay, that's a niche world that I don't belong in.
yeah. No, there's this. I met a dude who was a indie fantasy author, and he's like, oh, would you mind reading my book? It's out there. I was like, yeah, I'll go download it right now and read it. So I downloaded it, read it, and he had a scene in it. And not only was it just the scene to somehow, some way, forward the storyline of this person's progress or this person's digression or whatever, but he spent way too much time in the actual scene, in the actual
Yeah.
act itself, and to where it was pornographic. and no other part of the book had anything. It wasn't any kind of sensual book or sexual book. There was nothing else in that besides this one scene. And so I asked him, called him back and said, "Hey, I read it. Why did you spend 5 pages on that scene?" He's like, "Well, I just wanted to get into the total, destruction and depravity and blah blah." So I said, "No." I said, "No, you need to, this is just my opinion, but you need to rewrite that." And especially with that kind of violent stealing of, you need to, if you that changed the tone of the book, and not in a good way. It made this light fantasy, this great sword and sorcery kind of story. It turned it very dark, and it never left that place.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Well, that's what I was afraid of. That's what I wanted to ask you." So he ended up pulling it down, rewriting it, and it ended up being almost a fade to black scene. Which even then, that could be very triggering for some people. I understand. I understand that 100%, a billion percent. I understand that. But he ended up taking that, and it completely changed the story. Like, because I was like, "I'll be honest with you. If I read this and didn't know you, and now I don't know if I know you, right?" So that's how impactful it is on me thinking about who you are as a character, what kind of media you take in, what do you watch when you're by yourself, where's your mind at? Because this was too graphic. It was too no one should dwell on something like that for that long. And so still, and obviously I won't mention his name. We're still homies, and he understands that I talk about this, and that's fine. But yeah, so go in that
Understand. Yeah, I was gonna say, it's like, respect the genre you're writing in, and understand, like, because you mentioned it's sword and sorcery, kind of lighter fantasy, and it's like, so a scene like that is extremely almost like out of left field to even include that. And so it's like, understand what genre you're writing in and where those boundaries are. And if you,
those 80s movies and 80s, thrift store books that were basically like sword and sorcery pornography. And
that's a niche field.
Yeah. And I was like, if that's what you're writing, although still tone that down, because that's what you're dwelling on is not a good part of even that to be dwelling on. But he's like, "That's not what I want to write. I'm writing this is happening part of the story." I was like, "Then just make it part of the story and move on."
Exactly. And it's like, how much time are you spending on certain scenes in complementary acting, or like in compliments to that scene? Like, if you're spending 2 pages on a discovered relic and you're like, "Oh my gosh, they could change the world," and then 5 pages on something like that, you're like, the pacing and
That's
the
exactly
balance.
what it was. Yeah, it was just like, dude, that's way it shifted the whole balance of the
And
story and the world.
interesting you say that, because that horror book I read that I was really like, I was like, this is beyond inappropriate. It was an extended amount of time. I didn't even finish the scene.
Yeah.
I was like, this is way too long. I was like, what is even happening?
Yeah.
And I'm like, it was like gruesomely inappropriate, to the point where I was like, I actually got really upset. And I'm like, and I usually don't get like that kind of emotional response unless I'm like reading a train wreck of a book, but I'm in for the long haul.
Right.
And it's like, it's those trashy paranormal romance books, and you're like, why are you doing this? And you're like, but
Right.
it's so good.
Right.
But this one was like, I had a like severe anger response, and I was like, okay, whoa, Chelsea, like, set it aside,
Yeah.
But it was the same thing. It was just like way too long on that scene. And I still think about that scene to this day, because I was like so upset by the scene. I thought it was so distasteful.
Yeah. I totally get it. I totally get it.
So I get the whole, wanting the trigger warning thing. I get it.
Right. So that's why we got on trigger warnings, because I was like, do I have to now have a trigger warning for my book because of this scene with Merle and Bitter? Because of course I won't do a trigger warning. So am I gonna have to go rewrite the scene? Well, no, that doesn't do the scene any justice, because the scene played itself out, and that is what it is. So anyway, so that's where I'm at right now. Is I just finished that chapter. So
that was a really crazy rabbit trail just to talk about that chapter.
That was it. Just to say that's where I'm at with my writing. I finished that chapter. So.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
I just realized we like literally started about that chapter, and then we just went off for like 10 minutes.
Yeah. That's that's where I'm at. I got my notification back from the artist that we both commissioned to do some character work that she has started on mine. So I'm super. I just can't imagine. I can't imagine what she's gonna come up with. I'm just so incredibly stoked for it.
I'm way too excited for you. Like I literally am thinking about it constantly because I was like, she finished my piece this week, like on Tuesday. I think it was Tuesday.
Yeah.
She sent me the final resolution and everything on Tuesday, and I was just like, I'm like, Micah's next.
Well, and when you sent it to me, I think I sent way too many explicitives and exclamation points and just it y'all, when you see it, goodness gracious, it is. I've never seen anything better. I don't think ever. And maybe I just don't have enough exposure to awesome character art.
Dude,
this is beyond what I've ever seen.
It is my wallpaper on my phone.
Oh yeah, and mine will be mine for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, okay, this is freaking epic. Yeah, and I just sit there and I open my phone and I stare at it. I'm like, am I weird? No.
Well, no, you're not weird because sometimes I open our text thread and go all the way back to it just so I can look at it. Like, so even I sit there and look at it sometimes. Yeah,
it's just glorious. It's just like,
it's
yeah,
beautiful. Yeah.
I sent it to Emran because
Yeah.
he's so cool. He's just like, I love sharing stuff with him. So I'm like, Emran, look at this.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure he was floored as well.
It's like, what the heck?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's under wraps right now. I think I said on.
I saw you put a little schedule out. Yeah.
Yeah, I did that for myself because I was starting to realize like I had way too much going on in my head. And I was like, this was more literally for myself to be like, look at all of this. Right. So I can start planning. I can like mentally, excuse me, as I stare at the freaking wallpaper.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
I was like, whoa, okay.
Let's all just take a moment so Chelsea can look at her character.
Yeah, dude, it's okay. So June 18th, I'm doing the character reveal, and so it's just, yeah, dude, I'd marry this man.
Yeah,
that's all I gotta say.
Yeah, he's the whole image is just incredible.
It's just incredible. I can't wait to share it. I would share it now, but we're so early that I don't want to like,
Right. I got you.
Like, yeah. So maybe a week before I actually share it on the socials, we'll share it here.
Here. Cool.
Yeah, I think that. Awesome. Because I literally am like, I don't even know how I'm gonna wait till June 18th to be honest with you.
Right.
So,
right. Well, and like, so if we do that, if we do like a week before, I'll have mine by then. So we'll put them both up, just for the show.
Oh my gosh, fantastic plan! I love it. I love it. I love it.
So how is your writing going? I know you've kind of been all over the place, but I don't know if you've made any progress on the things that you're supposed to be making progress on. So how are things going there?
I'm behind on my Dragon of Dread Deep edits because of life. The last 2 weeks have just been chaotic. So like it was just like everything that just blew up, but and you get it. It's like when you have to be in a certain headspace to do like real development edits. Like there is a mental energy that you have to apply,
and it's very draining. So your supply has to be full. Your tank's got to be full.
Yeah. And so my tank's been running a little bit on the lower side these last 2 weeks, especially this week. So I caught up to my edits last weekend, and I was like, cool, awesome, because she's setting them on a weekly basis right now. Mm-hmm. And so then she sent me the next 20,000, and I basically got like 5,000 in. And have not touched them all week.
Oh, really?
So, but so I'm like sitting here and I'm like, well, on this long weekend, guess what I'll be doing? Right. So, because I was like, I started to realize I was stretching really thin mentally, and the idea of like putting time into this development edits, I was like, I just don't have the mental capacity for it this week. I was just like way too much going on. And work just blew up. Like it was just chaotic all week. So, and that's why I'm not working today. So I was like,
you're not working Monday either. So you actually got like a 3.5 day weekend.
Yeah. I'm working today, but I'm not working. Right. You know what I mean? Right. So, and I think a lot of people do that on long weekends. So that being said, I made a big promise to myself where I was like, I am several weeks out from the line edits for the query project to begin. and I was like, bro, I was like, I realized I had left notes to myself and never touched them.
Hmm.
Like I finished development edits and then I was like left notes to myself to enhance a certain couple of pieces in the development edits, and I was just like, "Oh, I'll get to that." And I totally forgot about it. And so this week or like last week I was looking, realized that, slightly panicked because I was like, "Oh crap, like I need to get into that headspace again." And then I started hyper focusing on it this week, and then so yesterday I finally finished everything. Like
Good.
it is done. It's like
Awesome.
I might look at it one more time before I send it to her, but it's like development wise, it is done.
Sweet.
Um, so everything in my brain was checked off on top of the editor notes, and I was just like, because you know, like you do your development edits, and then you kind of leave yourself mental notes where you're like,
Right.
I kind of want to revisit to that, or I feel like something's missing, or I feel like I want to connect this piece to that piece a little bit more, and those were what those notes were. So yesterday I sat down and I was just like, get this done, because once you know it's off your plate, then you know that project itself, edit wise, is done. And then you can focus on this weekend with the Dragon of Dread deep edits and then go into next week with a bit more of a cleaner slate.
Yeah.
And so that's where I'm at with that. But you asked me, do you write all the characters one at a time, or do you,
Yes.
and I said it's kind of a mood. So that mood switch happened.
Okay.
Not yesterday, but the day before, I was listening to a song. And sometimes that's all it takes for me to like get into a character's head,
Yeah.
where it's just like something just clicked for Morai. And I was just like, oh my gosh, and so I just started like re-outlining everything because I just saw the vision perfectly in my head. And then I started writing his story again yesterday,
Awesome.
and it was just like it was perfect. I was like I'm like I restructured what was going to be focused on. I'm so excited. So yeah, I
Yeah.
started writing his story and I'm about almost 3,000 words in.
Awesome. Because
um
you were on Syra for weeks and
yeah,
weeks and weeks. Yeah.
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 And so now I can officially say I'm about 20,000 words into book 5.
Sweet.
So
Very good.
not sure how long that's going to last because obviously I have to edit.
Right. Right.
So, but I kind of in this mindset today where I'm like, I finished my query edits. I'm like, I don't know how much actual editing I'm going to do today, or if it's just going to be a writing day.
Just be a writing. We've already established that we need to chill. We've been told that, so we need to chill. And so I think today is a great chill day. So no edits, just some chill writing. Yeah, I think that's the way to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I'm taking Monday off, so I can sit there and just edit all day if
Yeah.
I wanted to,
Yeah.
which is kind of where my mindset's going. I'm like, I can just sit up here, do my edits. I know that I'm more in the heart of the story. Like when you're editing, I have sourdough all over my fingers, and I just realized that.
Nice. Good.
Sorry.
Yeah, Chelsea,
So
Chelsea, Chelsea did say that we had to start a little late today because she was going to be doing sourdough, and apparently it's a very involved, hours-long process. So,
to get it all prepped. Like you literally make the dough, but you don't add the salt because you want to do the auto lips process, which I think I'm pronouncing that right. And you're just strengthening the gluten in it.
okay.
But the salt, the chemical reaction that happens when you introduce salt changes that.
Hmm.
And so you literally prep the dough, which is 3 ingredients, and then you let it sit for an hour and a half, which I did. So at 7:30, I added my salt, and then I started the stretch and fold process, which takes another hour and a half. And
Yeah.
so it was just like I told Mike, I was like, so we can either start at 8:30 or we're gonna have to stop at 9 so I can do my final stretch and
Right.
fold.
We can start at normal time, but we'll have to take breaks. I was like, let's wait till you get done, and then we'll just start after you get done.
Yeah. So now it's proofing. It's doing its bulk fermentation. And so it'll double in size, get really bubbly because the sourdough culture is active and alive, and it's feeding off the flour, and it's got a warm oven to sit in. And then I'm going to shape it in a couple of hours or a few hours for its final hour rest before I bake.
Wow,
So
I did not know it was so involved. That's
it
crazy.
is. And so some people are like, don't ever cook it the same day, right? It's
Mhm.
like a culture. And I'm like, You can cook it the same day, world.
Yeah.
It's going to be okay. So I
Yeah.
do that all the time now. But it's like some people like to put it in the refrigerator for up to like 72 hours
Hmm.
afterwards because they think the flavor profile enhances. I've
Yeah.
tried the refrigeration thing. I don't think it changes the flavor. I think the maturation of your sourdough culture changes the flavor. So,
Okay.
but this is controversy. So, I
Right.
mean,
Right.
If there
you're
are
you're
sourdough
my
bakers in here, like we could get into an argument. Like
yeah,
there's debates. Like
yeah,
it's insane.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's awesome. That's good.
Yeah. So, anyways, I've got sourdough all over my hands, and I did not realize that, but it's fine. It's cool. This is
Yeah,
what you do on sourdough day.
it's totally
But
cool.
so I'm probably gonna write book 5 today. I think I was telling you, I don't know when I told you, I started the outlining for the standalone, which
Yes.
another one which I'm very excited about because I have a really powerful theme that I want to deliver with that one. That just kind of like my brain went, oh, you get those feelings. You're
Yeah.
like, that's it. That's
Yeah.
it. And that was that. That was I had that's it moment.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm very excited. There's
Yeah.
just a lot going on, and I don't know what the heck's going on at the
Yeah.
same time.
You have a lot going on. I'm pretty thrilled that I'm just sticking with my one book. That
Yeah.
I'm just hammering away at it. It'll be done hopefully by July because I've got to get it into edit.
So where's your word count at? Do you know?
Probably about the same because I keep going back. I just keep going back.
Don't
But
go back. We've
I'm not
discussed
doing
this.
I'm not doing the bad going back. I'm not doing the bad going back and
Okay.
rewriting. I'm doing things that so once I get to a certain point where maybe I had dropped an idea or something here in chapter 3 or 4, and now it's taking its full form here in its full form. I'm like, okay, now that I have its full form, I need to go back and give it its lesser
Okay.
form here, right? And so I'm tying, I'm weaving, like I said, all my stuff is like really layered. So that's what
It
takes me
is.
so long, is because it's so layered. So I'm constantly having to go back a few chapters and adjusting that layer so that it makes sense here. So I'm not doing any of the going back and editing or this and that, or getting like writer's block. It's all forward progress, but it's a 3D progress instead of like uh,
It's 3D progress.
yeah,
Well, actually, though, I imagine if you're going back and you're adding those layers, that is saving you so much post edit time.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
you finish the draft and then you go back and start to review things. You're saving hundreds of hours doing that
right,
because you're already in the mindset. You see something and then you want to revisit and then you just add that layer. I mean,
right. Because
that's a lesson I could take.
I couldn't imagine finishing the entire thing. So call it 150 to 180,000 words, getting to a point where I'd be like, oh, okay, this is. Oh, but wait, what was that chapter that? And so, but now that both sides are fresh, it's just better for me
Go
to
back.
build those layers and put those Legos together
I
while I'm in
respect
it.
that. I
Yeah,
really respect that because that is something where I have stumbled on where I'm in the middle of a scene and I go, "Oh my gosh." Like I know I need to go back to chapter 3, and add that piece and then I'm like, "But I don't want to interrupt the pacing, my
right,
mindset, right? I'm in the writing mindset where I'm like, I
right,
don't want to stop now because I'm in such a cool scene. And then I just keep going and then I will often leave myself a comment and I'm
yeah,
just like, I try to be detailed with myself because I literally think future me thinks is a mind reader. And I'll be like, I'll remember what that means.
right, exactly.
No, I don't half the
Right.
time,
And see,
you
that's
know?
what I'm afraid of, and so that's why I do it when it hits me. And so,
Yeah.
I'll go back, or like if I'm in a really tough scene, like the scene before the one I was working on the other day, I shared that paragraph with you, and the paragraph, even just that single paragraph, was just so layered, and it was so. If I'm there and I finish this gigantic, tough, hard scene, I might go back and do some things that were in the back of my head, so I can let that breathe a little bit. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's just constantly going a little bit forward, then going back and making sure all the layers are right, then going a little bit forward and then going back. So
Which is so cool though. I really respect that. I've gotten better at my comments, you
yeah,
know? But
and
yeah, I
that's
don't
something I've
have
never done. That's something I've never done is the comments. So maybe I should try that. But I think I should, for at least for this book, since I've got a flow
you've got
that
a
works for
method.
me. Right,
Yeah.
right. I should at least stick with that for now, and then maybe try comments on the next one. But I don't want to throw myself off.
No, don't throw yourself off because I've noticed like I won't change a method if I start a method for a book, and even that's why we've talked about the outlining process and like even compared to my standalone or the smaller this query project versus the main saga, like my process for the main saga is so different than the others
Right.
because that process has worked for me.
Yeah.
And so it's almost like I'm terrified or maybe habitually just normalized certain things that could be improved because I'm like, this works for this saga and I don't want to change it.
Exactly.
You know, I'm
Right.
like, it's fine. It'll work. You know,
Yeah.
at the end of this, maybe we'll figure something else out.
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
other books, I'll do something different. It's
Right.
like,
You got to
yeah,
stick, but wherever you're at, you got to stick with what you're doing, with what works. If it doesn't work, yeah, go back to the drawing board, figure it out.
yeah,
But
yeah.
if you got something that works, stick with it at least to the end of that. And so that's why, yeah. So it's I mean, it's taking its time, but it'll get there. It'll get there.
So, how are you feeling knowing we're like 5 weeks out from July 1st?
Yeah, feeling pretty. Like it's getting real. Yeah.
Because
It's
I feel like, I mean, because you did obviously Urban Legends, but this is like your baby. Like
right.
this is a true fiction tale that's just like, I mean, start to finish. You have a start, middle, end. You have
Right.
characters that you've built up. This isn't, I feel like Urban Legends, there was some sort, even though there was a lot of you in it, obviously,
Yeah.
it's like those are legends that are pulled. You get
Right.
to take your own spin on them.
Right. I
And
was still grounded in reality with
right,
yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
But this one, this is yours. This is your whole
Right.
world. And so it's like, I imagine there has to be a little bit of anxiety with, especially knowing there's an editor that's actually going to look at it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Because
now I wouldn't say there the kind of anxiety that is a paraphysical and the kind nothing like that, because we both experience anxiety, and I'm sure a lot of other people have. So it's not like that, like an actual interaction with anxiety. But yes, I'm anxious about it.
Yeah. My first book, when I sent The Blood of the Lion to my editor, I was like, and that was the first book. First off, nobody had like read my writing prior. So it was just like, there was a lot of emotions packed into that single event. And I physically and vividly still remember the anxiety. I had a physical response with my anxiety.
I think I'm in a better place than you when you did that, because not only do I have Urban Legends, but then I also have the Autumn Tales.
Yep.
And I've done some stuff for magazines and things like that. So I've people have read my writing. I've gotten positive feedback on it. I know people enjoy it. I know people enjoy my take or my prose. I know all that. You knew none of that.
I didn't,
none
dude,
of that.
I had 2 months of like social media presence.
Yeah.
Like nobody had read my writing. Like, even though I was the freaking child and I have all my notebooks still from like whatever, but I have all my notebooks where I'd sit there and just scribble and write and tell stories and blah, blah, blah. It was like, but nobody ever read my stuff. Like never, until my editor was the first person ever to read my stuff.
Right.
That was like nauseating.
Yeah. See, I don't have that kind of, so going to the editor, I'm literally going to the editor for perfection. Like that's what I'm going to them for. I'm not going to them for.
I love that response. Perfection.
Please make this perfect. Thank you. That's what I'm paying you for. So I already have the confidence that I can write. You didn't have that. You do now.
No.
You didn't have that then. So I already have the confidence. So when it goes to the editor, I'm not tripping, because this is just a business relationship. We're just going to make this guy as good as we can do it. That's our business relationship. That's no big deal. My anxiousness comes from, it means so much to me. The story means so much to me.
Yes.
That if it goes out ill received, it won't break my heart, because I'm writing it for me. I'm writing it for my daughter. That's where it's at. But
don't make me cry. I will freaking cry if you throw that.
I won't make you cry. But that is why I'm writing it. So if it comes back ill received, that's fine. But it would be a bummer. It would be a bummer, because I think it's such a great story. So there is anxiousness there.
Yeah, it's an amazing story. We can just say that right now. Like,
thank you. Yeah, I do agree. I think it's a great story. And of course I think yours is a great story. Sam, what do you do? Sam, we're recording, brother.
Brother.
Yeah. What's your problem, bro?
With Sam beating up out there?
I don't know. So somebody's out there he don't like. I think it's Amanda. I think she's out pulling weeds. So
Sam's like, who is that?
Amanda's mom just showed up. So,
okay.
So he's like, there's an intruder. So, anyways, I think let's cut it there. I think that was a great. I'm not going to do any editing. That was probably one of the easiest recordings we've ever done. No language. I might have to like bleep out some of the just to be sensitive and safe. So I'll bleep that out. But other than that, I think we're solid.
Solid.
Anything else you wanted to drop before we do this sick, well rehearsed, well loved exit that we always do?
Oh my gosh, this was such a like nostalgic and refreshing and relaxing episode. I feel like we were like the last 2 weeks has been like so dude.
Heavy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
heavy. I'm
Yeah.
like, I feel so much brighter now. I was gonna tell you a quick fun story.
Yeah.
It's just like 2 minutes. So if certain lighting, you might see a red spot. Oh my god. I quit.
I
So
know.
you might
I do this to your red spot. Yeah, I've noticed.
right here?
Yeah.
Yeah. Bro, I gave myself a chemical burn
No, you didn't.
with an oxy pad.
I mean, so just your skin reaction to a normal oxy pad, or did you do something
Yeah.
else with it?
No, like, so I do it all the time. Like, if I get a zit or something like that, right? And I had a
Yeah.
little pimple. It was
Yeah.
like Monday afternoon. I had a little pimple and, got rid of her. I was like, you go.
Yeah.
You've
See
hung
ya.
out with me all weekend. And
Right.
I didn't pop you because extended family was here, but now
Yeah.
you go.
Right.
And so I literally pop it. And then I always put an oxy pad there to like clean it and do all that. And sometimes I hold it there for like 30 seconds.
Yeah.
I did that. And these oxy pads, like, I had a full blown like chemical burn. Like, I literally, this is it on its greatest day. Like, kid you freaking not. I had like it like skin peeled off yesterday afternoon. Like, I had
What?
lost like entire layer of skin. Like, it all rose up and I just peeled the whole thing off. So it's red because it's fresh skin underneath. Like,
That's
it's all exposed
crazy.
skin.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was
Huh.
like, bro, I was like, what the heck are you putting in these oxy pads, bro?
That's crazy, dude. The only question on everyone's mind is, since you have the new pirate book coming out in December, why in the world didn't you just wear an eye patch?
Bro, I should have.
You
Like,
100% should have. That would have been epic.
I have a freaking real pirate hat. I'm dressing up as
That's
a
what-
pirate for our
Oh, yeah.
release week.
Yeah. And I'll dress up as a beautiful redhead princess.
Done.
Yeah. That'll be great.
It'll be perfect for the red hair. We were talking about this.
That's true. We were talking about that. Chelsea wants me to dye my hair red, which I have no problem doing because I don't care about my hair. But I said I will if you will.
And Chelsea said no.
Chelsea said no.
Because it took 2 years to get the red out of my hair that was accidentally put into my hair. I was like,
that's fine. Who cares?
Devastated.
My daughter did I don't know what they call them, but you know how like you do the color runs where you do a 5K and whatever, you did all the chalk and the colors and the paints and all that. So she did one of those not too long ago, and she can't get her hair like from like here down like is maroon, and she's a blonde, but it's like it actually looks really cool. And so she tried forever to get it out because she had, her senior pictures and graduation and all this stuff. And her hair was, half maroon and like all of the pictures and everything. But it actually looks pretty good. So I don't think she's tripping about it. So you should.
That is epic.
You should definitely do it.
I had that. Like, I had a hairstylist put 2/3 red in my hair, 1/3 brown, when we never discussed that. Because blondes, because your hair's so porous when you're blonde.
Right.
And I literally was like, WTF. And I had like tinged red hair for 2 years. I mean, and it took like another 6-7 months to get it lifted out.
Yeah.
With a different hairstylist. I was just like, bro, without like destroying my hair.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I'm like semi-traumatized.
Cut it all off and do it like mine. Don't you like mine?
Bro.
Isn't that
I
great?
don't want short hair. I like my long hair.
It'll grow back.
In like 80 years for me.
That's what I tell everybody. I mean, don't worry about it. It'll grow back. Oh, speaking about it'll grow back. So when I was in the parlor waiting for Jeremy to get done so he could fill this. This was just I just called him. I was like, brother, I got to get this filled in. Like for 2 weeks, it's been bothering me. I've had this tattoo for over a year, but the hand tattoo. But I was like, I got to fill this little space in.
You just sent a random photo, and you're like, look what I did.
So I called him. I said, hey, can you get me in? Can you get me in? Just like it'll be like 20 minutes. We just got to fill it. He's like, yeah, just come in and we'll figure it out. So I go in. I'm waiting for him to finish the tattoo he was on from an actual paying customer who actually made an appointment. And So while I'm waiting, I was over by the tattoo or the ear piercing lady, and well, I got my ears pierced. No, I
No.
didn't. But
Oh.
but I really wanted to. So I think I think I'm gonna get my ears pierced. Not like some, but like, great. Now we have to edit. We should have stopped
No,
while we were ahead. We
you're
stopped while
not
we were
done at that,
ahead.
dude. Oh my
Uh,
god.
but they had these like blue and white marble posts. So
Oh,
they're just like straight posts, and they're gauged a little bit. They're maybe like 10 gauge. Like a normal piercing is like 16 or 14 gauge. These are like 10 gauge, so they're just a little bit bigger, maybe like the size of a pencil lead.
yeah.
Uh, and just these real pretty blue and white marble posts. So I was like, I think I'm gonna do it.
Bro, are you gonna show up next week with like pierced ears?
Yeah,
Gauged?
gauged pierced ears. I think so. Yeah, I
We're
think
gonna
I'm
have to
gonna.
show everybody.
Oh, of course, we'll have to. I'll have to do that so everyone can see them. But
I feel like it would be
yeah,
really tender
I
with
do
the
too. That
headphones.
yeah, that's why I might have to do earbuds. I might have to. I've got some in-ear monitors for my drums, and
Yeah.
there's buds that wrap around. So
At least while they're
I'll have to use.
healing.
Yeah, I'll probably have to use those next week because I think I'm
I've
gonna do it.
dang, I've wanted to get a third piercing on my ear and I just haven't done it yet.
Yeah,
I wanted
yeah,
to do like those top pieces.
yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
No, I haven't done it.
I had my ears pierced back in the day. Everybody did, but I think
Micah's a rocker, dude. You're a rocker.
yeah,
That's what you
yeah,
are.
back in the day in the '90s, I had all that, and all that '90s stuff is coming back. So it's like, it's kind of like it just kind of feels a little bit nostalgic, and yeah, I'm old, but it's like I don't feel old, and like I'm not going through a midlife crisis. It's just like I've always done tattoos, I've always done piercings, I've always colored my hair. Back when I was 17 in a punk band, I colored my hair. So it's
It's
just like
amazing.
it's just who I am. So I got the urge, and I was like, I think I kind of want to do it, but I don't just want to get regular piercings. I want to get them gauged a little bit, just because I've never done that. So just get them gauged a little bit, see how it looks, how it feels, and hey, I won't get them gauged so far to where if I pull them out, they won't heal. So
No.
yeah,
And you have to get to a certain size for that. I mean,
yeah,
you got quite a bit of wiggle room before that happens.
yeah. And I don't know exactly what, but I know
Yeah.
like a 10 gauge is not very big. So
Yeah, no, it's
8,
not.
6, those are pretty big.
Yeah.
But I don't think 10's too big. So anyway, so I may next week I may have some gauged ears with some really pretty blue and white marble posts in them. So we'll see.
I'm very curious.
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
I totally support it.
I appreciate that. I
You're welcome.
support that I have been Micah.
I have been Chelsea.
Together we have been not a podcast, but we have been two indie authors that talk about writing and other things. Like, comment, subscribe,